Yeah, I remember I went to with Kicking and Screaming, we were like sort of. Did you do this bottle rocket where you'd like go to? I mean, I still do this. I'm saying it like, did you ever do this? Where you follow the movie around, you go to a lot of like art house theaters but like some of them are like clubs.
You mean like when the movie's opening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the movie is being platformed, so then you're 3 weeks after you've already experienced it once, you're doing it again and
seeing what is the feeling in the room.
And I went to I don't think it's there in Washington D.C. The Key Theater used to be there, and they had it's like a group of people go. They're subscribers. They go to so the guy who ran the series had me waiting outside very proudly as the people filed out, and this woman came up and said to him, "That was the worst movie you've ever showed us," and she just hated it, and she went on, and it could have been, I was more embarrassed for him in a way than I was for myself, and she then turned to me and said, "What did you think?" And this is a moment I wish I could have over, and says a lot about me. I said, "It was all right." I couldn't even commit one way or the other to go like. But that stuff's painful,
Yes, it is. It does stick with you. You've relived that moment.
But I remember Peter Bogdanovich, who was in some ways we have a sort of thing with him. He's our surrogate dad, and he calls us his sons. But we've known him now for a long time, and we met him separately, and then kind of became friends, and then brought him in. So we have this whole thing. But I remember him saying, we went to see a movie at MoMA, one of his movies. It was St. Jack, I think, at MoMA together. And he was telling me a story how, like, this sort of same idea that his mother had been at, it was a movie of his that hadn't done well. I can't remember which one it was, but she said something like, "Well, I met one person who really liked it," and he said at the time was sort of like, "Mom, you don't understand. And then he was saying now he was thinking, no, I think actually one person is enough.
Yeah.
I mean, if they really get it and love it.
Certainly one person can be a very meaningful thing. Because I shouldn't even mention this. I'm trying not to think about it. I had an interview in Chicago the other day with a reporter who just hates everything I've ever had anything to do with. It was very clear. Every question was negative, and I realized how personal, how personally we take. These things are like, I didn't quite say to him, that I didn't quite express to him that I cannot have an objective conversation about my response to things people don't like about my work. It's too personal. I did say to him, if I were Oliver Stone, you would have a broken jaw. By now. You're just lucky. It's just me.
Yeah. That's a good meta way to punch somebody. Yeah. It's the world we live in that we've occupied somehow. I think that's if you have a thing where like you have a report, or like an interview or someone who claims they like the movie, but then quotes all the negative things and asks you to. You just think like, why?
Yes, I know. How do you respond to people who say is not the way to start the question?
No.
That's a very dangerous ground. Yes. Do you think we should take some, on that note?
Some questions? Now that they know how thin-skinned we are.
I think we've set it up properly. Does anyone have any questions? You have to go to
You have
this
to walk to the
microphone.
microphone and look right at us.
Which